Okay, good morning and welcome, Henry and Mateo. Today is Sunday, July 26th, and it is 9 o'clock. And today's topic is going to be protein. But we're going to start off by just kind of reviewing the workouts that we did this weekend, um, or not this weekend, but this whole week. So, first question that I have for the two of you is, what was your favorite workout this week? So Henry, were you there Tuesday and Thursday? I can't remember.
Oh, just Thursday.
Just Thursday? Okay. Mateo, you were there Tuesday,
I
Thursday?
was there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Henry, you were only there Thursday. What was on Thursday, I believe, uh we did deadlifts. Hold on. Yeah, we did deadlifts. Um, we did standing press, so the overhead press. We did front squats. We did those Nordic curls, where you were on your knees.
Yeah.
Somebody was holding on to your ankles. And then we also did some planks that day. So since you were
Mhm.
there just Thursday, of those movements, which ones did you like the most?
I think the deadlifts are my favorite.
Okay, why?
Um, because I raised the weight on them and I could actually like do it.
Okay, you felt empowered, felt strong in it.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. That's good that you like that because deadlifts are like a key pillar in a lot of the in fitness, period. Right.
Yeah.
And it transfers to real life, right? So a deadlift is like you walking over and picking something up off the ground. In the gym, it's the formal language of it, but the full expression of it happens in life. And you should know like what you need to do with your core. I mean, you're picking up light stuff at home, that's nothing. But when you go to pick up something, you should know how to organize your body in order to do that. So that's good. Mateo, how about you? What was your
I
favorite?
I really like the Nordic curls.
You like those?
Yeah.
Okay, why?
They felt good. They felt really good for my
Yeah,
legs and my core.
yeah, they help your posture.
Yeah.
That's also kind of a deadlift movement. It helps your deadlift. Um, yeah, if more people did that, we'd have less back issues. So that's good. Um, so you guys, did either of you watch the hydration talk that we did last Sunday?
I couldn't find time. I
Okay.
Yeah,
was
I can.
planning to today.
Okay. Did you seen it inside of Train Heroic, right? Like the link for
Um,
it?
yeah, like
Okay.
a couple days ago.
All right. So this is what I want you guys to do is get something to write with because I want you to take my cell phone number down. And if you ever have any questions about how to get to something or how to access something, I want you to text me directly so that because sometimes things can get lost inside of Train Heroic. So my number is 612-240-3855. And that's my personal cell, and you guys can reach out to me at any time, just not in the middle of the night.
Mm.
Okay. So with that hydration talk, I issued a challenge. And so the challenge was for people to get a water bottle. This isn't one. Well, yeah, kind of is. I'm drinking my protein shake right now, which is fitting because we're going to talk about protein. One that has measurements on it because you can only manage what you measure. So it's a good idea to have just a water bottle that you know what the measurement is and you know how much you need to get and you know how many of those you need to drink in a day. And so the challenge was to get one of those to try to get half of your body weight in water, not including coffee, not including protein shakes, but water in ounces. So, like if you're a 100-pound person, you want to try to get 50 ounces of water in you each day. You don't have to do it all at one time, but by carrying a water bottle, you can determine, okay, how am I going to break this up? How am I going to get this water in addition to the other fluids that you drink? And so today I was going to ask, did anybody do that? And then if so, who drank more water this week. Now let's just go ahead and transition. So last week we talked about hydration. Today we're going to be talking about the building blocks that help your body recover and get stronger. And that building block is protein. So real quick, we're going to just review and stop me if you have any questions about something that we did this week. So training review, day one, back squats. And Henry, you weren't here for that. But what muscles do you think you're working the hardest in a back squat? That's for both of you, even if you weren't there on Monday.
Probably the legs, glutes.
Yeah, back squat is that barbell on your back. You're standing in your squat position and you're dropping down to the floor and then coming straight back up. Go ahead, Mateo.
Like leg muscles, like the glutes.
Your glutes. Yep, your glutes, right? Which are kind of the butt muscles. Your quadriceps, which, like, if you're sitting down and you put your hands on your thighs right now, those are your quadriceps. Now, they call them your quadriceps because you have 4 of them. Quadriceps, right? It also works your hamstrings. And when you guys were talking about that Nordic curl, that works your hamstrings. So so I'm going to try to set up why the protein is important. So when you squat, you're creating tiny tears in your muscle. That's actually a good thing. The stronger muscles don't happen, or they're stronger, your muscles don't get stronger during the workout. They actually get stronger after the workout. Now, we'll stick a pin in that. Now, the bench press. When do you actually, this is a question after what I just said. When you're bench pressing, when do you actually get stronger? Do you think you get stronger during the bench press, or do you get stronger after the bench press?
After.
Okay.
After.
All right. So if you're going to give me that answer, why? Like, why would you say after?
Because as today's topic, you would get protein and stuff to repair that muscle,
Yeah.
and then it'll grow back stronger.
Yeah. So typically exercise is the stimulus is the bench press, right? The response is you getting stronger. So you stimulate a muscle, or you stimulate a muscle to elicit this change, right? But that change doesn't happen when you're actually doing the workout. The change happens when your body's recovering. Because what happens is your chest muscles say, you know what? We're not strong enough to continue to do what he's trying to make us to do. So when we rebuild those little tiny tears, we need to build them stronger so that they can keep up with what Henry or what Mateo is trying to do. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mateo, since you were there day one, we do barbell rolls. Do you remember the barbell rolls?
Just when you roll it up the legs.
Yeah, so that's the deadlift, but the
Yeah.
barbell
Yeah.
row is like when I got the bar, I'm bent over and I'm just pulling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the bent over row or the barbell row. Okay. Why do you think that that's a good movement?
Because you got to lift stuff up from the ground. It'll help you strengthen.
Yeah, but what parts of your body would you say that that's good for?
Maybe your lats.
Yep, your lats, your shoulders,
You
right?
know, arm muscles.
Yep. And in terms of baseball, those are the muscles that help you throw stronger, like help you throw harder, right? Also the muscles that improve your posture, right? Because if I have a barbell in my hand and I'm bent over like this, my back wants to round, but I have to engage those muscles and then work. So then when I stand up taller, nice and tall, right? And so people around you that slouch, they could use some barbell rows. Okay, so pull-ups. So on Monday, we do pull-ups with the bands. Or not Mondays, Tuesdays. Thursdays, we do chin-ups with the bands. how did those pull-ups and chin-ups go for you guys this week?
They were good. The chin-ups were a little easier. Like I did more chin-ups and pull-ups.
Okay. You
Yeah,
know why? Go ahead, Henry.
yeah, they weren't too hard, but they were like a good challenge. Like I felt comfortable.
Okay. Do you guys now prior to coming to our weight room sessions, did you guys play around with pull-ups at all, or did you never ever?
I have a
No,
pull-up
not
bar
really.
in my house.
You got a pull-up bar? Okay. Which kind do you got, Henry?
Um, I'm not sure. Just like a normal one, I guess.
I mean, like, does it go like on in the doorway,
Oh
or
yeah,
is
like
it like
in
a
on the frame,
freestanding one?
like on the door frame.
Okay. So did you like doing the pull-ups with the bands like that? Because it
Yeah, we have
okay.
made too.
Oh, you got bands as well.
Hmm.
Okay, so you come from a little workout family, it sounds like. Okay,
Yeah,
very cool. Very cool. Okay. Um, anyway, let's stick with those pull-ups because even if you're using the band, eventually we'll switch to smaller bands, and then eventually we switch to nothing, right? Just your body weight. And that's a good, pretty much total body workout, those pull-ups. Not many people can do pull-ups. So you want to have that in your back pocket. Okay, so day two, deadlifts. What muscles does the deadlift train? Expected, it trains your glutes, trains your hamstrings, trains your back, trains your grip, which is good for your pull-ups. A lot of these movements that we do cross over, right? One makes you better at the other makes you better at the other, and so on. But all these muscles, glutes, hamstrings, back, your grip, your forearm muscles, and your core, those muscles need protein to repair. So, standing press, that's this one. Healthy shoulders, throwing strength, and joint stability. So, if you're a thrower for baseballs, that's a vulnerable area, right? So, we want to make sure that that area stays balanced, meaning I want to be overhead pushing, but I also want to be overhead pulling in the pull up in both those directions, including like the bench press or a push up. And then that bent over row will keep me balanced. You guys following me on that?
yeah,
Yeah.
Right? So the body, this stuff isn't like rocket science, right? So the body wants to be balanced. So if I'm working pushing muscles this way, the weight's on me and I'm pushing it that way, then to be balanced, I want to pull this way. And then if I'm pushing this way, then I want to pull that way. And if I can, you'll notice in the workouts that it's always push pull, kind of like that. And as long as whenever you're on your own, if you're thinking that, then you're going to be doing something good. But a lot of times, young athletes get into doing a lot of pushing because it makes the chest and the shoulders look good, and we can see that in the mirror, right? But we neglect the back muscles, and it looks good from the front, but it doesn't look good all over. So you want to stay balanced. And then you're stronger if you're balanced because inside of your body, there's no such thing as pushing. All these muscles are kind of like cables and they leverage and they're all pulling to create movement. So even though I'm pushing like this outside of my body, there are certain muscles that are long and they get short. They pull together in order for me to make that movement. You guys follow me on that one? Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Awesome. So, okay, so standing press, and then front squats. Front squats are good because you know that back squat puts the weight on your back, and so that weight wants to bend you over, right? And you're resisting it with your muscle. That front squat puts the weight here, and that wants to push you back, but you're resisting it, right? So that kind of balance thing. Um, but if I had to be stuck on an island all by myself and had to choose between the two, I would always choose front squats. It just does so much. It stimulates the body more than the back squat, which is when you start spending more time in gyms, you will see that people do more back squats than they do front squats because front squats suck. But you should do them until they don't, and you will stand out in performance and in look. All right. Nordic curls, one of the best hamstring injury prevention exercises ever studied. So always, 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 even at 55, I do Nordic curls so that I don't pull a hamstring. And I still run. I got a 12-year-old son that always wants to race me. And if I didn't do those Nordic curls, I could not run like that. So keep that in mind. All right, so I always start these calls off, and I know it kind of gets boring with what we did during the week. So now we're going to move into the main lesson, protein. So, question, what do you think protein actually does? What does it do? Anybody? Take a guess.
It helps repair muscles.
Yeah, so it helps you repair your muscles. It helps build muscles. It helps your body recover. It actually supports your immune system, right? It helps make hormones and enzymes. Proteins help you stay full longer. So when you make your plate, if you have more protein than the other stuff on it, once you're done eating, you're going to stay full longer. Without enough protein, you cannot maximize your training. So your body does not care that you want to be a stronger athlete. Your body cares about survival. So it's going to do everything that it can to survive, meaning that when you eat protein, your body uses protein for other things than just your muscle and other more vital things towards survival. So, like the enzymes that we're talking about, those are way more important than muscle. So, the reason why I'm saying this is because if you don't eat enough protein, your body is going to take it for the stuff that's important first. And then if there's some left over, your muscles get it, right? So you got to make sure that you're eating enough protein so that you can satisfy the vital organs, brain, all that. And then there's some left over to help maintain and build the muscles, right? So imagine you're building a house. The workout is like construction workers. Protein is the bricks. No bricks, no house. No protein, no muscle growth. All right, muscle growth. Every workout causes tiny muscle damage. Your body repairs that damage. If recovery is good, the muscle becomes stronger. This is called adaptation. So, those of you that have been coming to my class, you've heard me talk about human beings being master adapters, right? We can adapt to any situation, which is why currently we're at the top of the food chain. But that doesn't stop with just our capabilities. Our bodies can adapt as well. So, if if I drink alcohol, right? So I can have a beer, and that beer is it's gonna alter my mood, alter how I feel. But if I drink a beer every day, then eventually that beer is not gonna alter my mood as much because my body will adapt to it. Then I got to drink more beer, right? Um, if I sit on the couch, my body will adapt to that couch, right? Um, and if I try to do something else, my body won't feel good because it will want to be on that couch, right? Because it is adapted to that. But the beauty of it is that if I get off that couch and start working out regularly, right, eventually my body starts to adapt to that. So you are a walking receipt of your daily behaviors because you can't hide it because your body adapts to whatever it is that you're doing. So with that being said, how much protein do you think athletes need every day? Because most athletes underestimate this. I know you've heard stuff, you've been on YouTube, you watch the influencers, you heard some stuff on TV, your parents might have told you some stuff. How much protein do you guys think that you need? Take a wild guess. Come on. Say it, you can say in grams.
50 grams.
60?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mikhail, how much do you weigh?
Like somewhere around 120, I think.
Run 20.
120.
So if you weigh, well, hold on, I'm gonna say that. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, so most athletes underestimate this. General recommendations are about 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. So if you weigh 120 pounds, you should try to get 120 grams of protein per day. Um, and we'll just, oh, yeah. But you don't need perfection. You just need to try to consistently hit that point. And it can be hard to do that. So I weigh 185. So I'm trying to get 185 grams of protein. And this is 45 grams of protein, right? And this is the first one for the day. So, but I also want to eat real food to get some of that protein. So for me, I got to get up early and start doing this early and do it throughout the day because you can't just eat it all in one serving because your body can only process so much at a time. You'll end up wasting it or having it turn into carbohydrates or fat later, or you'll just waste it. So you want to try to give it to your body throughout the day. So that takes us to the next part. Does more protein build more muscle? No. Your body can only use so much. Eating 300 grams doesn't build muscle faster. Consistent intake matters more than the amount. Best protein sources. What foods have protein? That's a question.
Animal meat like chicken,
Yeah.
burgers, or like beef.
Yep.
Egg,
Say again.
eggs.
Eggs. Yep. Yep. Chicken, turkey, lean beef, fish, eggs. Anybody eat Greek yogurt?
Yeah, I do sometimes.
Yogurt is an excellent source of protein. Every morning I eat yogurt, granola, and blueberries. Love it. Love it. The same thing. You guys should try that. Milk is a good source of protein. Cottage cheese, protein shakes, obviously, beans, lentils, peanut butter, tofu, edamame, little bean pods or whatever. Uh, Also a good source of protein. All right, so with protein, there are, and I'm not going to get too deep into this, but there are 20 essential amino acids. And amino acids are the protein molecule broken down into its smaller units. Some foods are complete protein, some foods are not. So, for instance, um, beans by themselves are a good, okay source of protein, but they don't have all the 20 amino acids in it. But if you mix beans with rice, and that's no meat at all, that makes it complete protein. So if that's all you ate, you would still get good protein out of that. Animal proteins are complete. They contain every essential amino acid. Protein or plant proteins often need to be combined. Both can work. So bean, rice, those are plants. Put those two together, you can create a complete protein, which is why you guys hear about people being vegetarians. Humans can't live without protein. The only way that they can be a vegetarian is by seeking out the plants that actually provide protein and making sure that they get enough of that. Beans are a good source of it. So are nuts, but nuts have a lot of fat. But fat is not bad when you're training. Okay. One of the amino acids, one of the major ones, um, as science has put it, is leucine. And leucine matters because one amino acid deserves, or that's the one amino acid that deserves the most attention. Think of leucine as the on switch for your muscle growth. Foods high in leucine, chicken, beef, eggs, milk, Greek yogurt, and whey protein. That's the type of protein I take. It's whey protein. The brand is Gold Standard that I take, and I like it. One, it's inexpensive. So, like if your parents shop at Costco, you can get a big bag of it for like $50, like a big bag of it. Lasts you a month and a half. And uh, they use a third party company to test the efficacy and potency of the actual protein itself. So whenever you supplement your diet with something, you want to make sure it's with a company that allows an independent company to come in and test their products, test dissolvability, test uh, make sure that the amount of protein that they say is in it is in it. And they don't come to the factory and do that. They just buy it off the shelf like they're anonymously, and then they test it. And then they put those results, they make those results public, not just to the company that hired them. Those are reputable supplemental companies. Because if you guys know, the supplemental industry is not regulated by the FDA. So the government doesn't come in and force these guys to do what they're supposed to do like they do with medication. It's different. So keep that in mind when you're buying stuff, or just ask me because I've done the homework. Okay, so milk, Greek yogurt, whey protein, good sources of leucine, which is one of the most important amino acids of a protein. Okay, so when should you eat protein, do you guys think?
In your meals.
Yep, you should eat it in your meals. When else?
After workouts?
Yeah, yeah. So the right answer is spread it throughout the day. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, definitely after workouts. And I try to make sure that if I'm going to do a hard workout, that within 45 minutes of that, I'm adding protein into my body. And the reason why that's important is because if I have a big upper body day and I walk out of that gym and I eat crappy, my body will go down into my legs, break some of the protein out of the muscles that I already worked hard for, and funnel it up to the upper body. So it's like robbing Peter to pay Paul. So if you know anybody who works out all the time and it doesn't seem like they build muscle, it's because they're not getting enough protein. Yeah, your muscles don't care if protein comes exactly 30 minutes afterwards. They care if you eat enough every day. So when you eat it is not as important as how often you eat. So consistency, consistency, consistency. Same with the workouts. Okay, breakfast matters. Many athletes eat toast, cereal, donuts, Pop-Tarts, almost no protein. Instead, try eggs, Greek yogurt, milk, protein, oatmeal, or breakfast sandwiches. After practice, great options: chocolate milk, turkey sandwich, Greek yogurt, protein shake, chicken and rice, beef burrito. Before bed, casein protein digests slowly. Casein protein is protein that comes from like dairy, like milk. And so if you're into milk, I don't drink milk because I'm lactose intolerant, but that's the best time to use that type of source because it breaks down slowly. And when you're sleeping is when your body's repairing. So you want to make sure that that protein is on deck when you go to sleep so that you can really recover. Good bedtime choices for that casein would be the Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, and milk. Okay, protein supplements. And we kind of talked about some of that. We're kind of hopping around. Uh, and I've been talking about how much protein I drink. Between the two of you, who drinks protein shakes?
I do.
You do? How
I normally
often?
don't,
What's
but
that?
I said I normally don't, but I could probably start.
Okay. Henry, how often do you drink protein shakes?
Mostly every time that I work out,
Okay.
but I
Now,
probably should incorporate it into just every day.
now you're hearing what I'm saying, right? Um, Protein powder isn't magic. It's food. It's simply convenient. If you eat enough protein from food, you don't need protein powder. Now, the problem is, for a lot of us, it's time, right? Um, it takes a lot of time to prepare protein so that you can eat it. And so for me, I'm busy. I mean, I'm getting up at 4 in the morning. You know, my first client's at 5. I usually work till about 9, and then I can slam some breakfast, and then I get back in it, and then till noon, and then I try to slam some lunch, right? And oftentimes, you know, if I don't meal prep, protein shakes are a lifesaver, right? Because it's, you know, that's 45 grams right there. I'd have to eat, I'd have to eat like I think like 5 chicken breasts to get that. So this is convenient, right? So, but if you have enough time and you got people preparing food for you, it's best to eat real food, but in a pinch, um, protein. All right. So whey protein, which is this stuff, versus plant protein. Whey protein, fast digestion, excellent quality. Plant protein. I can't talk today. Um, requires slightly more time to digest. So whey is more convenient. A lot of times whey doesn't agree with people's stomachs though. So then they have to switch to a plant protein, which is just try them both, figure out what works best for you. If you eat meat, you should be okay with the whey protein. Protein bars, some are good, some are candy bars with protein added, right? So I'd stay away from some of those protein bars unless you're into reading labels. Um, you want to make sure that the percentage of the protein bar, that more of the percentage is protein, not where like if you look at the ingredients or the the label and it says it has a certain percentage of carbohydrates and the protein is smaller than that, that's not a good bar, right? Not if you need it for protein. Now, say if you're running a marathon, then it don't matter. Just eat the bar, right? Your body's gonna process everything. Um, common myths. Have you guys heard any myths about protein? Like any dangers or any benefits that you may have heard?
My mom said that in some of them that are like marshmallow flavored or something like that, there's like a lot of artificial sweeteners or something that's
Yeah,
like really for you.
that's true. That's true. And they do that so that it tastes better, right? So you'll feel better about drinking it. Now, one thing about nutrition is that I had to learn that nutrition, especially nutrition and being an athlete, um, if you're going to be an athlete, your body doesn't care about how you feel about how it tastes, right? Sometimes you have to do it. You got to gut it down or drink it or eat it because it's good for your body. You know, a lot of us get into um, it's got to feel good. It's got to taste good. It's got to, right? You live to eat and not eat to live kind of deal. When you are an athlete, I don't care how you feel. You're not a breakfast person. That's no longer in your repertoire. You have to become a breakfast person because that's the most important meal of the day because you fasted for 7 hours or 8 hours or however long you slept. If you have muscles, they wake up, they need supplies, they need resources. And if you don't give them those resources, then you're not going to be maximizing yourself. In fact, you know that you can work out your entire life and be have muscles and be nice and strong. But it only takes 7 days for atrophy to set in. And what atrophy is that your body says, all this stuff that Henry or Mateo has been doing, they've stopped doing. Muscle is expensive in terms of resources. So when the body's divvying out resources, the muscles get a lot because you're working, right? But as soon as you stop working, the body goes, oh, we don't need to be allocating all these resources towards the muscle. Let's allocate it towards something else. And then you start to get smaller and you start to get weaker, right? And so, lost my train of thought. Where was I going with that? Anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna get back to this. Sorry. I overslept today and I haven't had my breakfast. So that's why you see me drinking my protein shake. So common myths about protein. A lot of times people think that protein hurts your kidneys because your kidneys filter a lot of the stuff that you put into your body. Healthy people have no evidence of kidney damage from high protein diets. So if you're healthy, there's nothing wrong with you, then you're not going to hurt your kidneys by eating more protein. Now, if you have some pre-existing issues that you're currently dealing with your doctor, you should definitely have a conversation with your doctor or your parents before you just automatically start increasing your protein intake based on what I said. So, no pre-existing issues, don't worry about it. A myth, more protein equals bigger muscles. That's false, right? So I can sit here and not work out and drink a lot of protein, but I'm not going to get muscles from that. My body's going to see all that protein, and once the enzymes and all that other stuff is taken care of, all the excess will get converted into fat and stored as energy, right? So don't just drink protein and think that the muscles are going to appear. You got to do the work. This is a supplement or a tool to assist you in getting the muscles and making it easier. So if you ever feel like you're sluggish, like if we go, like say you do Tuesday, Thursday, you come do the track workout on Saturday, plus you're doing some train aerobic stuff. If you start to feel really weak, it's typically because you don't have enough protein. I would start there. Training plus recovery plus sleep plus enough calories all matter. Another myth, only bodybuilders need protein. That's false. Every athlete needs protein. Another myth, protein shakes are steroids. Not true. They're powdered food and most. So there's an entity called ASADA and there's another one too, and they regulate professional athletes in terms of what is a performance enhancing drug and what is not. For the most part, all protein, well, I shouldn't say all protein, gold standard is approved. You can be drinking gold standard, and if you were tested, it's not a performance enhancement drug. It's a powdered food, right? And you want to be careful if you get up into performing in higher levels on what you do take as opposed to what you don't take. And you can go online, you can ask someone like me, hey, is this safe to take or is this going to flag me if you're there? But that's something you just want to consider. Okay, moving along. So there's a thing called a recovery triangle. 3 things build athletes: training, nutrition, and sleep. That's that triangle. Training, nutrition, and sleep. Miss one, performance suffers. So you got to make sure you're training, got to hit that nutrition piece. And then, so training stimulates, nutrition gets you the supplies. The magic happens when you sleep. So, Henry, what time you go to bed at night?
Around 10, kind of.
Mateo, what time you go to bed at night?
Around 9:30.
Mateo, what time you get up in the morning?
7:45, 8-ish.
Okay, how about you, Henry?
Yeah, around there.
Okay,
7.
so that's good. I call that sleep hygiene. And sleep hygiene is, we got all these things as human beings that we do to get us up and ready to perform and face the world. Coffee, brush your teeth, all this stuff, slap you, whatever. Now I'm ready to attack the world. But we don't have a whole lot of things to get us ready to bring all that down so that we can get good sleep, right? I think you should have both routines, one to get you up, one to get you down. So screens, you should stop with the screens at least no later than 1 hour before you actually go to bed, right? The light from these screens mess with your hormones. So one hormone in particular, um, melatonin, your pituitary gland in your brain, deep in your brain, is on a circadian clock, meaning back before all this electricity, the sun would dictate when your pituitary gland would start to secrete melatonin. That is that thing that starts to bring you down so that you can start to relax and go to sleep, right? Then there are certain hormones that start to secrete in your head to get you up once the sun starts coming up, right? Now we've replaced that type of stuff with coffee and other things, but it still works the same way. So if I go to bed at the same time each night, then my body will start to secrete the melatonin, about an hour before I go to bed. So then I'll start to feel sleepy. And then when I start to get up, if I'm groggy, it takes a long time, it's because that clock is thrown off, right? Because those hormones started either secreting or didn't secrete because you're getting up and going to bed at different times. So it's a very good idea to pick a time, go to bed at that time, pick a different time, get up at that time, because then your body will adjust and it can secrete and do what it needs to do. So if you're a person who wakes up groggy each morning, I would take a look at when I go to bed and when I wake up. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up here, but a quick rapid fire quiz. And I need both of you to answer, true or false. You build muscle while you're lifting.
False.
What do you say, Henry?
False.
False. Good job. Question, do athletes need more protein than inactive people?
True.
True.
True. Are protein shakes required?
False.
You go false, yeah.
False. Is breakfast a good time to eat protein?
True.
Yeah.
True. Okay. Weekly challenge. The protein challenge. Every day this week, challenge is that you eat protein at breakfast, whether that's shake, egg, yogurt, any of the things that I've listed. Now, just so you know, this is being recorded, and now we have a YouTube page that's private, but I shoot the links to you guys so that you guys can constantly go back and watch these. Also, the whole presentation is in there. So if you need a list of the protein, it's going to be in there. So you can go in there, paste or whatever, and take it. So your weekly challenge, eat every day this week, eat protein at breakfast. Eat protein after workouts. Drink water with every meal. Aim for protein at every meal. Write down what you eat for 7 days. So if you come back next week, Sunday, for our next talk, I'll start off by asking the people who did it what they did. I might even be asking you during the week, you two in particular, because I know you watched it because you're here. See if you're getting that protein in. All right. That's the challenge. Okay. So in closing, remember this, you don't get stronger because you lifted today. You get stronger because your body recovered from today's workout. Recovery requires training, protein, water, sleep. Miss one, your progress slows. The athletes who consistently recover well are the ones who become stronger, healthier, and more successful. Gotta take care of your bodies. All right. Questions? All right. You guys learn anything today, or was this pretty average, normal stuff?
Or something.
Say
Just
again?
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Mateo?
Yeah, I learned what protein really does to the body.
Okay. All right. You guys gotta let me know though, because I could get real technical with this stuff, or I can get even more basic with it, right? And I don't know where you guys are at. And um, if you didn't learn anything, you gotta tell me, because then that means I need better information in here to deliver it to you guys. But if you did, then lets me know that I'm right at that point. Now, these are going to continue to happen all the way until the season starts. It might even go into the season, right? So we might return to protein now that you've heard, and now that you're going to try to put it into practice. I might swing back around with this on a Sunday talk to refresh and give you new information, maybe more detailed information. Because as you guys get older and as you get into playing more sports or just get into more activity, you're going to need to learn or know more. And I know that you guys are probably online watching stuff, but I want to make sure that you're getting vetted stuff, because I'm not going to tell you anything that you can't go to your doctor and they wouldn't back it up. Make sense?
Mm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good job, you guys. I appreciate. We're gonna get done a little early. I appreciate you guys taking time out. I think that this stuff is important only because when I was your age, there was nothing like this in terms of organized workouts, in terms of Saturday track workouts, which you guys should at some point. You got to come check it out. I mean, it's hard, but it's revealing. The thing about that track workout is you might learn some stuff about yourself you did not know. But it's good. We had a great workout yesterday. So yeah. So this week, just look forward to, we got training on Tuesday, 2 to 3:30. I mean, they're starting to kind of go longer, which I don't mind. So if you have people picking you up and dropping you off, just make sure that they know, it could be 3:45 before we walk out of there, right? As long as they're okay with that. So we'll be on deck for Tuesday and Thursday. We'll also be back on deck, but this week the workout at the track is at 9 o'clock. And then next week's call will be at 9 o'clock on Sunday as well. All right. So am I going to see both you guys this week, or you guys got camp or somebody traveling?
I got a camp this week, so I'll miss this week's workout.
Okay.
I've-
All right.
I have a camp, but it's like 2 hours, so if it's early enough, I think I can make it.
Okay. Very cool. All right. Mateo, if you can just check out uh train aerobic. I mean, if you're out
Yeah.
in the woods, it's kind of hard to do stuff, but maybe do some push-ups, some air squats, some planks, something just to keep that
Yeah.
body moving. Remember, consistency, and it
Yeah.
don't have to look like it looks at the weight room. Just your body needs to get used to doing something every day. All right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you. Have a good rest of your Sunday.
Yeah, you too.
You
All
too.
right.